gentlemen, I just have one thing to say. The Quack Attack is back, Jack! Hello everybody, it's me, it's Phil, and I am here to talk about one thing and one thing only, and that is the Mighty Ducks Game Changers series that just debuted on Disney Plus today. And boy, let me tell you something, I am excited, I am hyped, and I have watched the first episode, and I gotta tell you, it's incredible. It's gonna be very, very hard to kind of review this series without nostalgic, without like blinders on my eyes, because let's face it, you guys know me, you guys know I am a huge Mighty Ducks fan. I grew up watching the Mighty Duck movies over and over and over again. You ever wear a VHS tape? You ever done it 3 times? Yeah, that's me. So we're gonna do kind of a little bit of a breakdown of the first episode, and we're gonna review kind of each episode as they come out. We'll talk about it a little bit, give you a brief kind of summary of the plot. I won't go too much into it because I want you guys to watch this series for yourself. It is very, very awesome so far. I'm enjoying every second of it. There's little Easter eggs if you've watched the movies that you get to pick up on, and all in all, it's just really, really cool and refreshing to see the Mighty Ducks and hockey content, kind of like hockey in Hollywood back again on a much larger scale. And Disney Plus is a network for that. They have produced WandaVision, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, The Mandalorian. All of those have been quality shows that have come out so far, and so I have high hopes for the Mighty Ducks Game Changer series, and let's get right into episode 1. Now, the first thing we kind of see is the new Ducks logo. Now, when I saw this teased months ago, you know what? I was kind of cool with it because they definitely have that like purple and kind of like that teal kind of green that's like an ode to the old Mighty Ducks logo. So I was kind of cool with it. The duck build makes a return. It's new, it's kind of sleek and modern, so I enjoy that. And what they let you know right off the hop is that the Mighty Ducks have become the powerhouse team. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and like the Hawks were in the 90s that kind of like won all the state championships and they were the heavy favorites, that has now become the Mighty Ducks. And they have tryouts where you get to make the team like basically any standard kind of hockey team in the minor leagues. And this is where we get to meet our, I guess, main character, Evan Morrow, who tries out for the team. He's looking a little bit slow. His shot's not the best right now. What's really funny is we get to see Evan's mom, Alex, in the stands, and she's talking with some of the other parents like, oh, how come we didn't see you at any of the clinics or camps this year? She's like, well, I tried to sign up 10 minutes after they launched, and they were all sold out. And what's really funny is this is a very scarily accurate assessment of hockey parents and culture that has become, I guess, like so just commonplace nowadays. Now, basically what happens is there's a lot of parents who put their kids into these power skating camps. They have them going to nutritionists, sports psychologists, basically doctors, and these kids are at a young age. These are 12 to 14-year-old kids, and they are basically, I guess, learning the ropes of how actual athletes and like adulthood train and how they need to maintain a diet and stuff to be athletes. And this is scary because if you think about it, you're 12 to 14 years old. What are you into? Like, I don't know, Pokemon, cards, YouTube. These kids are learning how to train like adults, and it's just insane. And they even kind of poke fun at that, like, really? You brought 2 sports psychologists to your kid's tryout? It gets nuts. Anyway, this poor kid, Evan, he gets cut from the team, and his mom comes out and was like, you know what happened to just sports being fun? What happened to hockey being fun? Like this original Ducks team, you know, hockey was just all about fun, being out there, playing with their friends, being a part of a team, learning, and basically just enjoying the love of the game. And she's like, well, what happened to that? So they get cut and they decide, you know what, they're going to start their own hockey team. And this is where Evan meets Nick, who claims he's a podcast guy, and I popped hard for that because I like that podcast get mentioned. And then they kind of find a couple other ragtag group of kids. One of my favorites is Logan, who just moves in from Toronto, and he's already supporting the Maple Leaf jersey on. But what's really kind of weird about it, I'm going to put up a picture here, is that he's wearing a Leaf jersey, but the numbering on the side looks very, very reminiscent of the Canucks numbering. And I know the show is filmed in BC, so I'm kind of curious if maybe they just had a jersey on hand. We're like, stitch it, put a name on it, get it out of here. So that was actually really interesting to see. So they end up basically having 3 days to put together a couple more kids and put together a team, and they have to find ice time. Ice time's getting very tough to find. Alex calls everywhere, cannot get a rink, so she finds this place called the Ice Palace. She walks on over and she sees that, oh, okay, it is an ice rink, in fact, an ice palace with an ice rink, you know, pretty appropriate name. And she goes to find the manager, and he's working on the Zamboni, saying he's dealing with hydraulic lines by smashing it in with a wrench. Kind of funny. Lo and behold, the manager working on the Zamboni was none other than the Minnesota Miracle Man himself, Mr. Gordon Bombay. And she asks if Bombay will be able to rent the ice out to her, and he says, no, no hockey. I don't like hockey and I hate kids, and I thought that was pretty funny. That's a nice little ode to the Mighty Ducks' first movie. And she says, well, I happen to have some money. Bombay needs money. So he agrees to rent the ice out to her, so now this new team has a place to play. And basically what happens is Evan's still recruiting other team members. They find this guy, and I thought this was really funny. They find this guy named Coop13. He's kind of playing a version of NHL, and this is where it gets really inaccurate, because this goalie apparently doesn't let in any goals. If you played any drop-in games, you know that is absolutely not the case. Goalies will let in muffins from the point, but this guy Coop13 apparently stops anything. They start to lob balls and stuff at him, toys, anything, and he just blocks everything. Like, it's insane. This kid just stops everything. Initially he refuses. It gets to near the end of the episode, and Evan gives this big empowering speech at his school saying, like, listen, I'm joining this new team. This other team, the Ducks, they just leave you behind in the dust. I was a Duck, and the second I was cut, they cut me completely out of their lives. If you want to join the team that is just focused on having fun, focused on playing hockey, then come with me. And what happens is he ends up getting a couple more people to join his team. We don't know their names yet. They weren't actually mentioned. There was this kid named Sam, and he seems pretty awesome, actually. I'm starting to like him a lot. And lo and behold, now they have their ice. They go to like the whole team introduction thing that the Ducks are hosting. And then right at the last second, after the Ducks were introduced as the final team, the mom's like, wait, there's this new team called the Don't Bothers, and I am not a fan of that name whatsoever. But you know what? Maybe it'll grow on me. And then they all skate onto the ice, and that is where Coach T says, listen, 12 to 14, that's body contact. And some of the kids are like, oh, and that is the first episode recap. Because I've been waiting for a Mighty Ducks series for years, and I love the little Easter eggs. I'll mention one right off the top. When she goes to the Ice Palace, there's actually a photo of Gordon Bombay playing in the Minnesota Waves, which is obviously a reference to D2. And this show as a whole so far, I'm really liking the pacing of it. There was no real kind of crazy hockey action besides the tryout. The first episode was kind of getting to know the characters, and I assume the next episode will be getting to know the team and like their personalities and how they're all going to mesh together. I assume Bombay is going to have more of an influence on here, and what I'm really curious about is if any of the old members of the Mighty Ducks team are going to make cameos. It's rumored that there's been pictures that they are going to show up, but just from kind of like a fan service standpoint, I definitely expect it. Now, I kind of want to talk about my hopes for this series. So apparently it's going to be 10 episodes long. I don't know if it's just going to be a one-off 10 episode, if there's going to be multiple seasons where maybe if they win, they have to defend the championship, they recruit new players. So it's all just kind of up in the air as to where this series is going to go. But if you're a fan of the first movie and you like the whole kind of aspect of this ragtag group of kind of kids getting together, learning kind of how to play the game, because a bunch of them don't even know how to play hockey. They mentioned that. A couple of these kids don't know how to play hockey. What's really funny is there's this Logan kid who's from Toronto. Kid cannot skate worth a darn. He actually kind of looks like William Nylander, and I thought that was pretty funny. But they can't skate yet, which obviously was a big theme in the first Mighty Ducks, is that some of them might not have been the most talented hockey players, but through coaching, through the love of the game, they eventually learn to get better at the sport. They learn to kind of become one as a team. They learn, they adapt, and they start winning games. So I'm thinking, because it is Disney, they're going to keep more along the lines of that. But what I'm just kind of excited to see is every good sports story needs a team where the underdog has to go against. It seems like that's going to be the Ducks. I'm interested to see how the Ducks are going to be portrayed as kind of this villain, like in wrestling terms, like the heel role now. You could already see, like, they're stuck up, they're stormy, they're full of themselves, they're like high on confidence, stuff like that. So they're basically literally just the Hawks from the 90s, like dropped right into 2021. So that's going to be interesting to see is how this kind of team shapes up as kind of the antagonist role, because we're so used to seeing the Ducks as the good guys, but now this other team, the Don't Bothers, is the underdogs. I'm curious for to see what their uniforms are going to look like, okay, and the color schemes. As you know, I'm a big jersey guy. I love hockey jerseys. So I'm curious to see what their jerseys are going to look like, if maybe they're going to have their first couple games where they're just in football pads, copies of the Inquirer taped to their shins. Kind of interested to see what that's going to look like. And another really interesting kind of thing, I am rattling off a million points a minute, and I am very sorry, but you can tell I'm excited. What's really cool is I think this show, or Disney, has maybe a partnership with the NHL, or they've bought a license, because you can see a lot of like Toronto Maple Leafs gear, you can see like Minnesota Wild jerseys and hats, you can see legitimate NHL logos, like the actual logos and the jerseys themselves, not even being like censored or anything. Like, they're just out there. They're vividly out there. So that's going to be kind of a cool thing to see if they maybe keep expanding on that and growing on that. I'm hoping, the one kind of thing I'm hoping for is that I hope that the old duck bill makes an appearance, like the NHL logo from the 90s, especially if they have like the rights to that. I hope that makes an appearance. Maybe these guys will make an appearance, but I doubt like the new Ducks will wear them. That's the problem, man, is that like I'm so excited to see the potential Easter eggs throughout this entire 10-episode run and beyond if there's a season 2. I'm so excited to see these like little things that are going to be dropped in for fan service. That is exciting. Like, it's exciting. Even the Zamboni was Hendrix, from Hendrix Hockey Apparel, from D2. Don Tibbles is just the man right now. I want to see that man running the company. All in all, if you did like the first 3 movies, this show definitely has potential. It's definitely worth a watch if you have. It's 42 minutes for the first episode. If you have an hour just kicking around, if you like the first movies, I can't recommend this enough, okay? So far, it seems very well done. I like the pacing of it. I like how they're kind of taking more of a slow build to it. And that's going to be something interesting, is it's a series. It's not a movie. Everything can't be explained in less than 2 hours. Everything has to be drawn out over what I assume is going to be 10 episode segments of 42 minutes. That's a lot of time to work with. The man actually creating this show and writing it was Stephen Brill, who made the first, I think it was the first 2 movies at least, I don't know about the third one, but Stephen Brill was the man behind this. So if there's anyone that I trust, it's him, and I trust his vision. Obviously, he's got great passion for hockey and great passion for the Mighty Ducks franchise as a whole. He's been trying to get this off the ground for years. But I'm just looking forward to more episodes. Anyway, if you guys have watched this, show, let me know what you think in the comments, man. I'm very, very interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. If you watched the first episode, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions. And hey, we're gonna reconvene back here next week, man, to talk more about it. I'm Phil. I will see you in the next one, Cake Eaters. Stay classy.